So I guess we will call to order the Parking Commission of the City of St. Louis. This is January 4th, 2021, and we're doing this via Zoom due to COVID. I guess we'll do a roll call. The Honorable Tashara Jones. She's not present. Jared just indicated that.
Jared
He's
Boyd.
here serving in her place. Honorable Jeffrey Boyd.
Present.
And plain old Mr. Jamie Wilson present. And Jared, sorry I talked over you. You were indicating you were present, just for the record.
Yes.
Okay. Item number 1 on the agenda. I'm just going to read this and then I can provide dialogue to it. Consideration and approval of a proposal to enact a requirement that the Parking Commission and parking supervisors shall be required to comply with and adhere to the requirements of City Ordinances 64102 and 64104, and no parking funds shall be expended for contracts executed without compliance with said ordinances. This measure is proposed in order to improve transparency and accountability in the award of Parking Commission contracts and the expenditure of Parking Commission funds. Basically, this item relates to the Parking Division operating similar to the same as all the other city departments when it comes to soliciting and selecting proposals for professional services. As many know, that includes a 5-person selection committee. That's 2 people from the department that is putting out the proposal, 1 from the comptroller's office, 1 from the alderman's office, and 1 from the mayor's office, so 5 total. And again, that's the same for every department. Ultimately, this contract that's decided on, that's selected, is put in standard city format with, the comptroller ultimately signing off. I think this agenda item brings the Parking Division into that same transparent, uniform approach to professional services that all other city departments already follow. I should note that this motion does not include terminating any existing contracts that the Treasurer's Office, the Parking Division, is already into. It's only for new professional service contracts from this point. And I should also note, I believe 64104, that ordinance, I believe that is clerical error. I don't think the motion should include an amendment to remove that, as that's just related to emergency bids for the Board of Public Service. So 64102 is just a standard professional services contract ordinance that all city departments follow. So that said, I'd ask for a motion to approve this item as amended.
So moved.
And I'll second. And we'll do a roll call vote. Honorable Tashara Jones. Oh, I'm
No.
sorry, that's not present. Yep. Honorable Jeffrey Boyd
Aye.
and Mr. Jamie Wilson, aye as well. So that's 1 no, 2 yes. Motion passes. The second item on the agenda, again, I'll read this and then provide dialogue after. Item 2 is the discussion, or I should say item 3. 1 was roll call. Item 2 is the previous one. Item 3 is this one. Discussion of expenditures for attorney fees. Consideration and approval of a proposal to enact a requirement that no additional Parking Division funds may be expended by the parking supervisor for attorney's fees or other expenses related to litigation styled Wilson and others versus City of St. Louis and others, cause number 1722-CC00338 in Circuit Court in the City of St. Louis, including but not limited to expenditures for any appeals. This item is basically to end payment from the Parking Division funds for legal fees associated with that case. That's a case that Judge City Code governs the operations of the Parking Commission. So basically, we're saying not to expend any more funds to appeal this decision, as it doesn't benefit the Parking Division to pursue an appeal to the City Code decision. I would say I should note that this does not include excluding payments for the attorneys for their time to date, just for any new charges from this point forward. That said, I'd ask for a motion to approve this item.
Mr. Chairman, out of deference to Mr. Boyd, who's in for the treasurer, I'd like to offer conversation about if there are any comments or anything, discussion as far as this prior to
Sure.
actually making a motion.
Sure.
Mr. Boyd,
Okay.
you have any comments or concerns?
Yes, I have a few comments and concerns on this issue. One, the city councilor's office is adverse to us in this matter, and they would represent city entities in legal issues, and they have indicated that they cannot represent us in any form or fashion. So are you all suggesting that the city councilor's budget should, I guess, pick up the fees for this appeal?
Well, my thought is, and I can speak for me, my thought is this needs to be an issue that's pretty much over with. The circuit court has ruled there's no real reason to move further to ask for an appeal at the Supreme Court level and, waste taxpayers' dollars. Even if the Supreme Court supported, the circuit court, the Parking Division would have to operate the way we're operating today. So why waste the taxpayers' dollars would be my question.
I guess that didn't seem to be an answer to the question, but I guess the second issue would be of the appropriateness of all the commissioners voting, given the fact that Alderman Boyd is a litigant in the lawsuit, and that seems to be a conflict of interest on this motion.
Well, seems to be a conflict of interest, and an actual conflict of interest is different. And I certainly can understand and respect your point of view. But any other thoughts?
I mean, those two seem to be like pretty issues.
So let me ask you this, Jared. So is it the treasurer? Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think we're all named in that, including myself as well, right?
Yeah.
Yes, but you all have taken positions on the opposite side of our office. And I think actually Alderman Boyd is a plaintiff in the case.
Yeah, but we also serve on a parking commission, and we're acting in the best interest of the city of St. Louis in our capacity as members of the parking commission. And I would think the best interest of the city of St. Louis is to support the treasurer, who, basically was pretty firm on the fact that parking has no business in the treasurer's office. And so it's pretty much a municipal function. I think most people in America would agree with that. So why not just, let everything stand right here and, again, not waste taxpayers' money? It becomes moot whether there's a conflict of interest or not.
I don't think we're going to get any, doesn't sound like getting any clarity on the point of whether or not there's a conflict of interest for you on this vote. And I don't know if that's going to be decided today, but I think that speaks to probably the vote not being appropriate for today, but that's my opinion.
Okay, well, thank you for sharing that. Hey, Mr. Chairman, I move that according to agenda item number 3, that the Parking Commission does not expend any funds related to case number 1722-CC00338, being used to appeal the current circuit court judgment.
Okay, and I'll second. Roll call vote. The Honorable Tashara Jones,
No?
Honorable Jeffrey Boyd,
Aye.
Mr. Jamie Wilson. Aye as well. It's 2 ayes, 1 nay. Motion passes. Are there any other comments by the Parking Commission while we're here?
Move to adjourn.
I have a question before we do adjournment. I have a question for Mr. Boyd, if he doesn't mind. Mr. Boyd, are you still there?
You here?
Okay, so it's my understanding that the treasurer is looking at potentially selling some real estate. Is that correct?
That is.
Okay,
We discussed the RFP for the property at a previous parking commission meeting, and we're still working through some final details.
and I think that's it's a good idea based on COVID-19 and some financial issues that the city as a whole is dealing with. But it's come to my attention that there's some property on Cherokee in which there's a business association that's interested in buying that lot. It's my understanding also they've been kind of taking care of it for the past several years, but they haven't been able to get a response from the parking commission on that. And I didn't really know anything about it. Can you talk a little bit about that property and if it's a good time to go ahead and sell that as we're looking at selling another piece of real estate?
I don't have a lot of information on the property. I think we spoke to an interested group probably 3-4 years ago about it. Have not heard from them since then. So I don't know kind of what the status is, and they have not reached out to me or anyone that I'm aware of in the last at least 2 years, I would say. So
is that a good piece of property to potentially sell and make some money off of?
I would have to go back and look at it. I can't recall all the details of that property.
Do you know if we're currently maintaining the property?
Like I said, I don't recall. I think that we were allowing some parking to be used in that neighborhood for that property.
Okay. Would you share with the treasurer that the next parking commission meeting where we may have the discussion about the sale of that property, if we could also get an update on the property on Cherokee and maybe have a discussion on selling that property on Cherokee? So there would be at least those 2 agenda items, selling the property on Cherokee as well as selling the property on Spruce.
Okay.
All right. So thank you for sharing that information. I think it's another potential opportunity for the parking commission to sell some real estate.
I guess also related to parking finances, do you have a sense of if or when the board bills related to the parking division will be heard by the Streets Committee?
Still working on that, still looking at some data, and I can get back with you on that.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. The motion was to adjourn. I'll second that motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting is adjourned. Thanks, guys.
All right.